folks, welcome back, and I am here with another video. My name is Caleb S. Holmberg. This is the Defender. To be specific, Defender wireless gamepad from Retro Fighters for the PS1, PS2, PS3, and a whole bunch of other systems. So, today I'm going to be giving my opinions on this thing. I'm going to play a little bit. It is also compatible with the Switch, which is a console that actually I own. I don't have any of the consoles for which this controller was designed, which may be a problem, but I don't think it will be. But anyway, let's get into this. This is the box, which I have kept ever since I got this. I was gonna do an unboxing, but somehow I got sidetracked, and actually I didn't do any videos for a while. It's been a while. This is the first one since I can't remember what the last one I did was, but I've been working on some other projects. So all in all, I think it's been good to take a break, but I'm definitely glad to be back to it. So anyway, Defender wireless gamepad. Looks like, well, it looks like every other controller, basically, like any sort of Switch controller. Like this one here is the Nyko, forget what that one's called. It'll come to me, but core controller for the Switch. I guess it's pretty similar in overall shape. Obviously, we have different buttons on here. The two analog sticks are symmetrical. They're both in the center. And then you have the face buttons and the D-pad on the far right and left, which is a matter of personal preference. But for me, I usually prefer this layout, just because I've always used controllers that are designed like this. But I can see, I guess I can see it both ways. But yeah. First impression wise, holding this thing in my hands, it feels great. The ergonomics, it's so comfortable. Can't really get any better, and the buttons are nice and well, they're not too clicky and then they're not too mushy. They're just perfect. And also they're clear, so extra points for that. Retro Fighters, clear buttons are cool. They know what's cool. So anyway, we have our triangle, circle, X, and square buttons, whatever that means. You PlayStation gamers will be laughing at me, but frankly I don't care. And yeah, I'm used to the Nintendo face buttons being all in a diamond shape like this, and I kind of think my thumb is going to automatically go to which one. I won't really have to look to kind of relate which one is which or what have you. But those are my first impressions. We have our start and select buttons, which I don't know. I think those on the Switch would be equivalent to plus and minus, and then we have turbo function, which is cool if you're into that, and then clear to clear the turbo. I may end up using this manual at some point today, but if I don't have to, I won't. If I can figure it out on my own, that would be awesome. So we have turbo, we have our triggers and shoulder buttons, and then the let me just focus that in here. Now this must be a PlayStation thing that I'm not familiar with, because that looks like a fist to me. Must be the punch button and then the capture button for Switch to capture a screenshot. So that is the basic overview. I guess I forgot to mention the joysticks. They feel fine. I mean, they're joysticks, and the D-pad feels great, nice and doesn't feel mushy, and it's not like you can tell that they don't all four different directions can't push at the same time, which is good. That's never a good sign. To me, that just says laziness and cheap. Which honestly, I buy cheap controllers, but if you can get a cheap controller that's not cheap, if you know what I mean, that's the goal. So anyway, I think right now I am going to turn on the old switch and give this a test run. And after that, I think I will end up taking this thing apart, showing you guys how to do that. Actually, I'll be learning how to do that while showing you guys how to do that. So that should be fun. Let's just turn the camera upwards a little bit so as you can see. And sorry, folks, you'll have to bear with me. Usually, I'm using just a digital point and shoot camera. Right now, I've got my gamer streaming setup all set up, so I'm a little bit out of my element. And to connect this thing, all you have to do is, it comes with these two different receivers. This one's for the PlayStation, and this one is just a USB. Get the USB one and just plug it into your Switch USB port, and it should blink, and then hit that home button, and you should be good to go. Although, one thing I did find out is, it took me forever to figure out how to pair this thing. So, just so you don't have that problem, go into system settings, and see if I can remember where that is. Controllers and sensors, and you want Pro Controller wired communication on. And then, so this controller behaves, it doesn't have a wire, but since you plug it in with a USB receiver, it still, the console recognizes it as a wired controller. Which means, unfortunately, it has no motion controls. And I don't know, I think it has rumble. I'm pretty sure it has rumble, which is good. But no motion controls. So if you're planning on playing anything like Breath of the Wild, anything where you need to like do some precision aiming or like movements or whatever, this is not going to be the controller for you. But if you're playing something like Kirby and the Forgotten Land, then it will work just fine. At least I hope. That's what we're about to find out right now. Alright, let's just fool around a little bit and see how this thing holds up. I mean, so far, I haven't really been playing more than 30 seconds, but yeah, I'll just shut up for a second and let you guys watch, and let me just actually try this thing out. Alright, so this controller feels excellent. It's got rumble. The rumble feels good. It's pretty strong rumble, I would say. But yeah, nothing I can see at this point wrong with it, really. Yeah, it's a really, really nice quality controller, and just feels really good to play with. Yeah, just trying to think of any thoughts I'm having. So far, nothing's really jumping out at me. Everything seems to work. Let's see, capture button works. I don't think the fist button does anything on the Switch, so unfortunately I don't know if that works. But the plus button works, minus button works. Let's try the turbo button real quick. I think what I'm gonna have to do is hold the turbo, hit a button, and let's see if that. Yep, that works. You just hold the button and it. The system takes it like you're hitting that button over and over, rapid fire. So watch this. I didn't mean to hit the table there. So I can make Kirby just fly up like a banshee. You see that? That's pretty awesome. You just go. Man, look at him go. You guys hear that sound? Making a sort of goofy sound. Let me just see if I can focus that in real quick. Get this a little bit better focus to the monitor here. Yeah. It is what it is. But anyway, that's basically all I have for the gameplay. And then if you want to clear the turbo, I think you just hit clear and then whichever button you had the turbo set on. Yep, that does it. As a side note, Kirby and the Forgotten Land, I will probably put a little link right here to my review of this game. It's a fantastic game, probably one of my favorite games that's come out in the past 10 years. One of the top 3, I would say. But anyway, I think at this point I will just turn the system off and tear this thing apart. Alright, so in order to do that, I will need to do it. Alrighty then, let's unplug that, put that away, and I apologize if there's some things about this controller that only pertain to the PlayStation that I'm forgetting to mention. If you have any questions or if there's anything that I'm missing here, don't be afraid to comment. Yeah, if you know any secrets about this controller or have any questions, I or any other gamers on here or PlayStation people who happen to watch this video might be able to help you. But now on to our teardown, and I have my screwdriver back here. Let me just get this camera. Yikes. I need to get a better webcam, but I can't exactly go do that right now in the middle of a video. Alright, so what I'm thinking is, obviously, we remove the screws, these 5.
Hi, this is Caleb editing this video. I may be stupid, but at least I'm dumb.
Little screws on the back of the controller. And make sure you're not, make sure you don't lose any of them. Keep them in one spot, in one pile if you can. Just makes everything easier when you go to put it back together. I've learned that the hard way. Okay, now I'm assuming we just pull this back panel clean off. And there it comes. Easy as that. I'm just going to take a look real quick and make sure there's nothing really that we need to worry about putting this back on. It'll just snap back into place, I think. Yeah, we'll figure that out once we go to put it back together. And we got our, let me just, man, this focusing this thing is a pain. The point and shoot camera may not have as good quality, but boy, it sure is easier. These looks like they would just snap. Oh, I think I broke it. Snap right out of there. So those do snap right out. Just they're very thin and fragile and bendable, which I don't think it'll. I don't think I broke it for good. I think it'll still work. Just oh, and I broke the fist button, so I don't think that's going to be a problem for me since I'm not playing the PlayStation. This is, oh, I forgot about this button. I don't really know what this button does. Must be like a sync button or something. But that comes out if you need to take it out. Alright, and here is our inside. I'm going to try taking these shoulder buttons off. So actually, the shoulder buttons don't come off, or at least I don't think, until I take this motherboard looking thing out. Motherboard looking thing. Yeah, I wouldn't call that a motherboard. Motherboard's part of a PC. But, so, if you want to take this, what am I going to call this? I guess I'll just call it the brain. No, I'm not going to call it the brain. I'm going to call it a circuit board because that excuse me. That is what it is. So, I'm going to take it out. And, okay, but first we have this battery. Yeah, so that can come off, and you can replace that if you need to. It's rechargeable, well, I mean, obviously, but if it somehow breaks or something, you know how to get to it. It just, it's got like a sticky thing on there. It just sticks on, so you have to peel it off, and you probably have to put another sticky pad on there. Unless you want to just have it hanging loose, it probably wouldn't be a big deal, but don't quote me on that. It probably would be good to have some sort of something hold it in there. You could use like electrical tape or something. That's probably what I'd do. So there's a screw here and a screw here that we need to take off. And also I see a couple on either side of the battery, like up in these corners, which are very hard to get to. I think I'm going to actually have to pull this battery off. So let's just go ahead and peel that off. And just let it hang. You know what? I'll just unplug it actually and set it aside. And that is where the battery goes. Remember that. So let's just take that out. And we'll take this one out as well. So there's 4 in total. And this should just lift off. But first, these rumblers, or whatever you call them, can just sort of come out of those little compartments there. There's just like rumble motors. These things spin around and they're weighted, and so that's what makes the rumble. And then this part, so the joysticks are connected to this. You can just lift that out. And if you wanted to replace your joysticks, now you could do that. These caps should just pop off. Yep. Just as I suspected. And yeah, you could replace the box there. You just have to desolder. All those, I have a video on that, but with a GameCube controller. This looks exactly like the GameCube joystick, except for there's these extra 4 solder points there on the left, which I think are for this button here, when you press down on the joystick, it clicks, which is something that wasn't present on the GameCube, but it would be just a couple extra steps. Wouldn't be terribly difficult as long as you have a solder remover and soldering iron, and maybe some soldering equipment. Ask an electrician. He'd know better than I do. So just set this aside. Same with these rumble motors. You could replace these. I don't know where you'd find replacement rumble motors, but that's none of my business. There's just 2 solder points for each one. Just desolder and resolder. No big rocket science there. And then we have this black plastic part, which I think is what all the buttons on the front and shoulder buttons are connected to. Let's see if I can... Oh yeah, okay, so there's a screw here and a screw there. They're kind of camouflaged to the plastic, so those need to come off. And then this just lifts right out of there. There's some, like, I don't know what this is. This like a plastic sticky film on there. Probably just leave that on there. You can take this rubber pad off if you need to clean that or whatever. I'm not going to do it right now. But same with the L2 and R2 buttons. These pads here, I think, do these just... They should just slide. No, wait, they've got like a little little thing that sticks out the back, so you'd have to push that out. I think, well, these should just... Oh yeah, these trigger buttons should come off. And always be very careful when you're doing these things. I'm preaching to myself here. I need to be careful that I don't break anything. Oh wait, so we've got this little wire. I don't know if you can see that. This little wire that's sort of keeps the joystick in place. Keeps it like from flopping around. That would need to come out. And then you just have to pull that. And then this should... I'm trying to figure out. This should just pop right out of here. Yep, it does. You just have to give it a little bit of force. And then... yeah, just pull it out. And there's your lower trigger button. And be careful with these because they are very small and like to fall. But I'm not going to fool around with that anymore because I don't want to mess it up. Snap that back in the way it was. Beautiful. Not quite. I'm going to pull that out again because this wire thing, I knew it would give me trouble, is in the wrong way. You gotta make sure that it's like a V shape. One of these needs to go in, like there's, you see there's a little notch for it there. So it goes like that. Whoop, drop the whole thing. And then whoosh. That goes like that. There we go. Lovely. And then it'd be the same with the other side, just mirrored. Alright, and so that's this part of the controller. Set that aside. This is a very complex controller compared to what I'm used to with the GameCube and Nintendo 64. But, I mean, once you've taken one apart, they're not a whole lot different from each other. It's just a matter of knowing what's what and keeping track of what goes where. But here's the upper shoulder buttons. Those are connected. And then we have the plus, minus, capture, or not capture, turbo and clear buttons all connected here. They're like an octopus. If I can... I don't know if that will actually come off. come to think of it. Alright, yeah, no, that's pretty stuck. I think it's got like tabs holding it down. This middle ring here, I'm not gonna try and pull that out. I'm just gonna leave it where it is. And then we have our home button. Very cool. These are like, this is for the indicator lights for the to show like what player number you are. That's the actual lights, and these must be just like whatever pieces of clear plastic for it to shine through. Just some clear plastic. And then pull that rubber pad out, and these are your face buttons. Let's dump those. Ooh, I like these. They're clear. But anyway, enough of me ranting about my obsession with refractive, shiny, clear objects. Anyway, we have those, and then we also have our directional pad, which comes right out, and it's nothing to gawk at, but it is functional. Let's put that back in, and now I will just put it all back together. So do everything you did before in reverse. But I will just go through that now and try and give you clear narration as much as I can. Home button goes back in. These face buttons each have their own specific pattern of tabs, so that you can't put one in the wrong spot, which is nice. Can't count how many times I've said that on this channel. Wait a minute. There we go. Okay. Is that right? I think it is. Yeah. Okay. And then these go back on next. You're going to want to make sure R, since this is upside down, you're going to make R on the left, L on the right. Counterintuitive, opposite of what it would be normally. And that should just kind of fit in there, which it does. It's got little tabs holding it in, so you can tell there's a point where it kind of actually like clicks in a little bit, where you can't, well, you can still dump stuff out, but where it stays in place, so you can tell when that happens. I think, let me just try real quick this clear plastic bit. See if I can push that out just for the sake of showing you the whole thing. I'll just get a smaller bit on my screwdriver here. See if that works. Screwdriver tactical reload completed. Yeah, this is going to be tricky. I need something very small to push it out. You have to push on one of these little dots on the front of it. So why don't I try a pen? No? I'm going to get ink all over it now. Not that anyone's going to see it. Need like a toothpick or something. How about I jiggle the camera a little bit more? But yeah, if you want to take that clear plastic bit out, you can do that. All you need to do is push on the front dots there, and just find like a needle or like a toothpick or something, and push that out. I don't really know like why you'd want to take this apart other than like for cleaning it, yeah. And for replacement parts, I don't know if they make replacement parts. I'm pretty sure Retro Fighters doesn't sell replacement parts. But I mean, who knows? Maybe someday in 10, 20 years, someone will find this video because their Retro Fighters Defender wireless gamepad stopped working and they want to figure out how to fix an old controller. But hey, wherever you are and whatever time period you are in, no matter how far in the future from the recording of this video you are, I'm happy to help. So now almost forgot to put this rubber pad in there, back on the D-pad, and there it is. And now I'm going to set this black plastic part back on, and there should be a certain way that goes. It's always tricky to figure out. Okay, so it looks like the bottom of it should go in first. Find these two little, there's these little round divots in the side, if that's what you call them, and just like make sure those align up with those pins on either side, and then the rest of it just push and it should just slip back in. And there it is. Let's put this circuit board. No, wait. Before the circuit board, we need to screw. Remember, these two screws here came from these two holes. This is why you need to keep track of your screws, because two of them here are shorter than the rest, which yeah, if you mix them up, it's kind of hard to tell. So it's important to keep them separate. So I'm gonna get my bit back on my screwdriver. I don't know why I'm talking with a southern accent whenever I say screwdriver. It's kind of fun. This here's a Husky screwdriver. It's a great screwdriver, and I highly recommend it. It's got 4 different sizes of bits, and very, very practical for small screws. And okay, anyway. This was not a sponsored. This video is not sponsored by Husky, by the way. This video isn't sponsored at all. What's up with that? Come on, guys. I need to get a sponsor. Let's get some more views and more subscribers on these things. No, I'm just kidding. I don't want to be that guy. You know, YouTubing, it's fun and all, but you know what I say a lot about a lot of things is once it becomes your job, once you get paid for it, it's not fun anymore. It's something you have to do. And I really don't want that to happen with this channel. I want this to be a fun thing to do. Just a fun way to share some of the meager knowledge I have gained about these controllers and give my honest opinions about them. I feel like having a sponsor would just make everything more complicated. Let's just put the circuit board back in place. The rumble strips. Wow. Rumble motors back where they were. They just kind of have to. You kind of have to push them back in. There's like, they've got like I don't know if I'd call it a felt or like a foam ring around it that kind of keeps it stuck in there, which is nifty. So screw these 4 back in. And where was that? Here it is. Over on the bottom corners. And then we'll put the battery back in. Hopefully it'll still stick down to the board. This plug goes right in here. And then this should stick. Yep, there it is. Perfect. Now, take the back cover and just slap it on there. Looks like you need to tilt it kind of like that first. Kind of get well, you wanna line up the USB-C port there first, and then everything else follows. And there it goes. Now let's put the screws back in the back of the controller and call it a day. All right, and there you have it. The Defender wireless gamepad from Retro Fighters. It is a very good controller. Retro Fighters, you did an amazing job. If I was to play PlayStation, this would be a great way to do it. I mean, I don't know if I've ever held a PlayStation controller in my hands before. Don't bite my head off for saying that. But if I was to play PlayStation, I would probably start with the original PlayStation controller, because I usually try to play whatever system with whatever's the original controller, original hardware, everything how it was originally designed. But I can see this being a great upgrade, and just I don't know, modernizing your PlayStation experience. It's a very nice looking controller too. Aesthetically, it's just very pleasing to the eye, and it's got that Retro Fighters logo on there. It's actually inset this time, unlike the Brawler 64, which was just printed, which I like that. It feels a lot better to have it indented there. Feels a little more professional. But other than that, I don't have a whole lot to say on this controller. Buy it if you like platformer games, or whatever type of games that don't need or don't make a heavy use of motion controls, because this doesn't have any. And anything where you're using the D-pad would be good, because this is a really great D-pad, I will say. So any like NES games, Super Nintendo games, Sega Genesis games maybe. Although Retro Fighters, I think Retro Fighters might have a Genesis controller, but don't quote me on that. On that note, I am going to call this video done. And thanks for watching. Feel free to subscribe if you would like to see more of this type of content, these controller reviews, these game reviews, these videos in general. Subscribe, hit the like button, and comment if you have any questions, concerns, hyperbole, haikus, or any sort of various paraphernalia to share with the masses. And with that, thanks for watching, and have a great day.